Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of BNA Sports Talk. Today I really want to talk about the top quarterbacks in the 2019 NFL Draft. Now you're probably wondering, Anthony, why are you talking about the quarterbacks in the 2019 NFL Draft? It's already 2020, we're looking at Justin Herbert. Now I want to see, and I want to rank the top quarterbacks from that class, and I want to give you my opinions about it. Now, I recorded this video a couple days ago, but it was kind of all hobble-jobbled, but I want to re-record it and make an actual good content video. I did more research, and I did more thinking, and yeah, so this is what I think. So, first of all, let's start off with the number one overall pick, Kyler Murray, with him and Cliff Kingsbury are now 5-9-1 on the season, and they just beat the Seattle Seahawks. I thought this was a trap game for Seattle. I think Seattle's a little bit overrated, but it can't take it away from Kyler Murray. The way he played in this game, he led the Cardinals to victory in a way, but he did get injured in the third quarter, which is going to be an ongoing thing about him. I mentioned in a video a couple weeks ago, why is Kyler Murray struggling? He was 3-9-1 at the time. He was playing well, and then all of a sudden he had a 6-game stretch where he struggled. And the main highlights I said was he's getting sacked more, and he's injured. He has this lingering hamstring injury, and now I forgot what his injury was. I think it might have been his hamstring in last game, but Kyler Murray is really struggling here to stay healthy. And he's struggling to get run away from linebackers when he's injured, and that's a big part of his game. He needs to be able to outrun these linebackers, and sometimes he's not. When he starts scrambling, he has a trusted wide receiver in Larry Fitzgerald. When he doesn't play, we'll see. Kyler Murray tends to drop it off to Larry Fitzgerald a lot, and when he needs him, and Larry Fitzgerald knows how to get a first down. So I think Kyler Murray is going to learn from Larry Fitzgerald, and that's a really good stepping stone for him. Kyler Murray is a really talented guy. Obviously, he's shorter than I would like. A couple of times he's running in the pocket and he just drops the ball from his hand. He looks small, but at this point he's better than Baker. In leadership, he's a little bit quiet as a leader, which is concerning. But Kyler Murray is solid. Again, I'll have his stats up on the screen. He's run for a lot of yards. He's thrown for a lot of yards as well. And yeah, he just has games like every rookie where the defense doesn't match up and you don't see it right and you have a lot of interception. That's common for a rookie. Next, I want to mention Daniel Jones, who's the 6th overall pick. He was a pick 6. He actually hasn't thrown a pick 6 this year so far. He's 23 touchdowns to 11 interceptions, around 2,700 yards. And that's around pace for a little more than 4,000 yards in a season. Daniel Jones has shown to this team that he can revitalize them. Eli Manning had a little bit of that a couple years ago, and it's just like, let's have this last season for Eli. Daniel Jones had 2 weeks off where he was injured, but, building his confidence back up. But he was put in the fray. Week 3, it's like, okay, save our season. You got time to step back. You got time to relax a little bit. Now it's his team. Eli had his proper send-off, and he's been playing well. He plays well against bad teams. Against the Lions, against the Cardinals, he got a couple blindside hits, but he played well against the Cardinals. Against bad defenses, he plays well. Like I said, against the Lions, against the Redskins, twice against the Buccaneers. We just haven't seen him put an amazing game off on great defense who can trick him like the Patriots with different schemes and things like that. And that's what you would expect for a rookie. And this team has a bright future behind him. People are like, he's not the next Tom Brady. Of course. We don't need an next Tom Brady. We need an next Daniel Jones. That's what we need. We don't need Daniel Jones to be somebody else. Obviously, I have a lot of bias in this pick. In the beginning, when we picked Daniel Jones, I threw the remote across. It wasn't my remote. It was like I was in college, so it was like the common areas remote. I was the only one watching, and I was pissed off because we didn't take Josh Allen. And I think Josh Allen would have been a great quarterback. Defensive end. But anyway, next, I want to mention the third quarterback taken, which is Dwayne Haskins. I was sold on him. Odell, Saquon Barkley, the 3 black dudes. And I don't know why I keep mentioning race. But, it'll be revolutionary for the Giants to have a black starting quarterback. But I looked at his pro day. He was sweating. And all he was doing is throwing a football. Daniel Jones looks way more athletic. He looks like he could athletically take a team down. He looks like a leader of a franchise. Dwayne Haskins, he looks just immature. And I thought in the beginning, give Dwayne Haskins a couple years, and it'll be good. Already seen Dwayne Haskins' improvement, but 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 8-ish games. He's already gotten injured a couple times. He doesn't really know what he's doing, hasn't really been put in the best situation to succeed. But he has a lot of playmakers. He has Terry McLaurin, who used to play with at Ohio State. So it's not like he has nobody to throw to. He has Adrian Peterson, which they don't really have a great running game. But, you have Adrian Peterson here. And you have guys to learn with, so he's not put in a horrible position. It's just I feel like I'm biased with him, but every single thing that he does, I'm just like, oh, this is bad. But he looked fairly impressive. He looks like he's improving, and that's all you need for a rookie quarterback to do. Get better week to week. Don't look like you're regressing like some other quarterbacks that I'll mention on this list. But, Dwayne Haskins picked 17. I think that's a steal. You're obviously glad that Dwayne Haskins dropped to you. His stats don't look great, but that's because a lot of his first career games were bad. His QBR actually is 29.1, which is well below average. So that's concerning, but, give him pieces to surround with. You're going to have a second overall pick. Maybe trade back, get a couple pieces, but I wouldn't mind getting defensive end Chase Young. I think that's the obvious pick here. Next, who should we mention next? I think Drew Lock. Drew Lock has looked fairly impressive. He had that stinker from really at the half against Houston, and then the week after that, I forgot who they played, but he looked bad. They played the Chiefs. He looked bad. Only 3 points he put up against the Chiefs, but now Chiefs have a great defense. 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions for Drew Lock in 3 games. He's looked fairly good. In the preseason, he looked too inaccurate. He was throwing balls all over the place, and then it was kind of concerning how Vic Fangio was just like, oh, he's not ready yet. He's not ready yet. Like, your quarterback that you drafted in the second round is not ready. Like, what are you waiting for? Like, you put in Brandon Allen before Drew Lock, kind of like what we were concerned about with Will Grier. But Drew Lock has looked fairly impressive. He looks poised in the pocket. He's taking what's given to him. He put up 27 points against the Lions, which he should put up. He has this team rejuvenated, which it always is a good sign. And John Elway, the main storyline here is John Elway may have found his quarterback. And yeah, so it's a young guy. He has years to learn. Vic Fangio is going to be tied to Drew Lock. And it's a small sample size. It's only 3 games. But the big thing is he has a big arm, but he's inaccurate. Sometimes he holds on to the ball a little bit too long because he wants that deep play. He's kind of like a Jameis Winston type. Yeah, he is kind of like Jameis Winston, the same build and stuff, but SEC type school. But we'll see how Drew Lock develops, and I'm cautiously optimistic about Drew Lock. He looks like he has a bright future. Next, we'll mention Will Grier because I think he was the 5th quarterback taken. And now this is obviously too small of a sample size, but he looked horrible. The Panthers are just unenthused. They just want to see what they had in Will Grier, I guess. Kyle Allen beat him out. That's all I really got to say. He's not really put in a great position to succeed. But with the Drew Lock thing, Drew Lock was put in after he was a third-string quarterback. He was put in. Drew Lock was injured. I want to mention that. Will Grier, he's not playing as Big 12 defenses anymore. And he struggled. 3 interceptions, 270 yards passing, I want to say, against the Colts, but a lot of that was just him in garbage time, just trying to get something going. He tried to get stuff going and then got kind of fooled by the Colts defense. He has a lot to learn. Jarrett Stidham, his first career start, his first career appearance, he threw an interception. I mean, Sam Darnold, Jameis Winston threw a pick 6 on their first pass. Daniel Jones had a fumble on his first possession, which is still a problem with Daniel Jones. I forgot to mention that, but Jarrett Stidham, still a small sample size. Ryan Finley, it just looks awful. Andy Dalton is better than him. Usually what we've seen is a quarterback gets put in, the team gets rejuvenated. The team wasn't really rejuvenated. In fact, they probably played worse under Finley, averaging about 13 yards a game, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in 3 games. And yeah, they put Andy Dalton right back in. Imagine that, like you're the new starting quarterback, and then you get benched for the guy again. With Daniel Jones, the Giants stuck with him. With the Jaguars, Gardner Minshew. With Gardner Minshew, the Jaguars stuck with him in a way. But they were paying a quarterback a lot of money, and then they're like, oh no, this quarterback is good. The Nick Foles sucks, and yeah. So that was the end of the story about that. Next, I want to mention Gardner Minshew because he was a 6th round selection out of Washington State University. And what I gotta say about him is he throws a lot of yards in the 4th quarter and a lot of garbage time. And then at the end of the game, it's like, oh, he was kind of in there. We only lost by like a touchdown. And then against the Raiders, they had a lucky break at the end of the game. And this is a big mess. I think you try to flip him for a 2nd-round pick to a team that actually wants him. The Jaguars don't want him. Doug Marrone and Caldwell are going to be like, oh, yeah, we like Gardner Minshew. Let's keep him for another year, that sort of thing. But no, they don't have their guy. And I know Zach Schaumer from Strong Opinion Sports loves him because his playmaking ability, I get he doesn't really have a lot to work with, but yeah, Gardner Minshew, I think you flip him for a 2nd-round pick. You try to get a quarterback in this year's draft. You're 5-11. You're going to be able to get a Justin Herbert, who a lot of people don't like, but you're going to be able to get maybe a Tua. I would weigh your options at quarterback in this offseason really heavily. What if Andrew Luck is like, oh, I want to come back? That sort of thing. What if, Phillip Rivers, or I don't think Phillip Rivers, but you got to weigh, I think you have to weigh your options more than just Gardner Minshew and Nick Foles. You have to extend it long. Other things about Gardner Minshew, his stats look pretty good. A lot of touchdowns, but those are all garbage time. I want to stress it. In the fourth quarter, you look at all his games, that's all he does. He plays like Patrick Mahomes, but he's not. He tries to rejuvenate the team, but he's not really able to. He's had a decent stats so far, but again, he hasn't been able to get those steady points in the first half. He's been like, oh yeah, we're out of the game. I guess he's a great leader. He's leading this team a little bit, but and there's still a lot of development with this guy. But he's an air raid guy. Is he stuck to a certain system, or can he adapt to certain playmaking styles? What if you bring in a new coach? Is he going to be able to coach Gardner Minshew? That's going to be a huge thing if Doug Marrone gets fired, or when he does get fired. But yeah, Gardner Minshew, and that's pretty much it. I think that's it for all my quarterbacks that I want to mention. There probably are some other ones, like Easton Stick. He didn't really start. We don't really know a lot about him, but I'll do more research about all these quarterbacks later, and I think we'll have a more in-depth video at about the 2018 quarterbacks, 2019 videos as we head into the offseason, as I get to watch more film and stuff like that, which is going to be fun. But yeah, so my rankings would be for this year particularly. So one, it would be pretty much like the rookies of the year. So one has to be Kyler Murray, 2 Daniel Jones, 3 Drew Lock, 4 Dwayne Haskins, 4 Gardner Minshew, 5 Dwayne Haskins, and then you can list, like, it doesn't really matter. You could say Ryan Finley, Drew Lock, whoever is after that, it doesn't really matter. Jarrett Stidham, it's whatever. And then for me in the future, I think Daniel Jones is going to be the best quarterback in this draft when it's all said and done. That's my opinion about it. That's because I said it. Like, oh, that's my opinion about it. Yeah, it's obviously my opinion about it because it hasn't happened yet. I think Kyler Murray's injuries are going to be a long-term problem for him. I think, honestly, I think Daniel Jones has the capability of winning the most Super Bowls, and that's, I think, the most success. He's going to end up with the most yards, most touchdowns, most everything out of anybody here because, I think the Giants organization is a top one, even though we haven't been in the, for the last 5 years. I think we're going to regain that, and we're going to help Daniel Jones out. We're going to get rid of Eli and that sort of thing and move on. And then, Kyler Murray / Drew Lock 2, 3. Those are interchangeable for me. I'll probably put Kyler Murray 2 because I think he's a more accurate quarterback. And then Dwayne Haskins, I'm not going to discount him, but I think he's going to be 4. Gardner Minshew 5. Because I think Gardner Minshew is just, he's going to have he's going to be like Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's going to have little spurts with teams, but it's never going to be really long-term sustainable. He may be able to do like a magical playoff run, but that's going to be really lucky. And then Ryan Finley, Jarrett Stidham, I haven't really seen anything yet. I'd lean towards Jarrett Stidham's going to be better than Ryan Finley. And Will Greer is just, I don't really know what to say about that because we haven't really seen much. But from what we've seen so far, not good. A lot of quarterbacks have come in and they've succeeded. They've executed the game plan. I get if Will Greer's not in a good position with the Panthers, but that is what it is. But hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know your guys' rankings for the top quarterbacks in the 2019 NFL Draft. What are your current rankings? What do you think they'll end up being when it's all said and done? And yeah, I'll definitely do a 2018, 2019 quarterback rankings and stuff like that later in the season. But for now, hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.